Hello, my name is Josephina Bayer-Grek. I am currently studying a doctoral degree about how to foster greater well-being in post-secondary schools. Currently, I am teaching A-level biology. I have been teaching for the past 25 years, the last 12 years in a post-secondary, and I always have students who show symptoms of anxiety. So because I have the well-being of students at heart, I do my best to try to find solutions how to help them. And my aim is always to foster more academic resilience in my students, to make them feel more comfortable and better. And when we educators show them how much we care for them, I think they really appreciate and they feel that the teacher is genuine and that we have their well-being at heart. And I think it's nice that educators do our best to help our students, because at the end of the day, if the student was my son or my daughter, I would really appreciate if the educator, if the teacher helped them out to check. Mela, I'm going to propose some simple skills and techniques that I am learning from my course, and I am sharing this PowerPoint. Weekly cognitive behavior therapy based intervention plan for student anxiety. It's very, very important that everything that we do, we consult with the student. We don't do anything from behind their backs, and we have to be very honest and show our intention that we would like to help them, that we would like to see them better students, not only for our classes, but even for their future endeavors. So, the aim of this presentation is to help students reduce anxiety, build confidence, and participate more actively in lessons using cognitive behavior therapy techniques. The duration of these simple steps that I am proposing takes about 6 weeks, with gradual exposure and skill building. All the time we have to consult and make sure that the students are comfortable with this. So what can we do during the first week? We are introducing this program, and we're going to call the first week Understanding Anxiety and Creating a Safe Space. The objective is to help the students recognize their anxiety triggers and introduce basic coping strategies. Examples of simple activities. First of all, we start with one-to-one discussion. Ask the student, when do you feel most anxious in class? Help them identify specific triggers. For example, answering questions makes me very anxious, or when we have a test, I'm very anxious, or when we have group work, I'm anxious to work with other people. Reassure them that feeling nervous is normal, but manageable. Journaling task. Journaling is very, very powerful in neuroscience and neuroplasticity. I am studying very hard on these. I really love the topics and they show amazing improvements. So journaling task, ask them to note down their anxious thoughts before or after the lessons. Example, what made me anxious? How did I respond? And ask them to do them every lesson, okay? To write on this journal every lesson, after every lesson. Introduce deep breathing, 4-7-8 method. I will explain later what it is. Teach them to breathe deeply before class or during anxiety spikes. And always encourage them, reassure them that they are not expected to participate right away, just to observe their thoughts for now. So we have to persist, and the students are encouraged to do those simple steps, those simple tasks for the whole week, and they have to be persistent. Then, after the first week, or right beginning of second week, we're going to work together on challenging negative thoughts. The objective is to help them reframe anxious thoughts into positive ones. So what activities can we propose here? Cognitive restructuring exercise. One-to-one, we have to speak to the students one-to-one, or we can ask the student to continue journaling and do these writing tasks. Take one anxious thought from their journal and challenge it together. For example, if the student wrote, I'm going to fail this lesson, as a very negative thought that they have during the lesson or before the lesson or at the end of the lesson, we can help them. We can say, how can we challenge that negative thought? For example, we can propose an alternative thought. I might not understand everything today, but I can always improve. Always positivity. Introduce positive self-talk cards. Give them a few encouraging phrases to look at when feeling anxious. For example, I can take small steps and improve. It's okay to make mistakes. I am learning. Mini success challenge. Ask them to write down one small thing they did well in class. Example, I stayed calm, and write it down and acknowledge it and praise yourself and be happy for that positive improvement. Or perhaps the student writes, I focused for 5 minutes longer. That's a huge improvement. That's very, very, very good. Week 3, gradual exposure, low stakes participation. The objective of this week is to reduce avoidance behavior and increase comfort in engaging with the lessons. This is especially for students who feel very anxious at answering a question or at participating. We're going to help them, and we discussed this prior to starting, that we would like to see them coming out of their comfort zone and participating and improving a small step at a time. Activities that we can propose. Start with low pressure engagement. Allow the student to answer a question privately. For example, they can write it down on a piece of paper and hand it to you without, of course, making it so obvious in front of the rest of the class, okay? Always respect the students, needless to say so. Other examples. Pair the discussion before speaking to the class. Let them discuss the answers with a partner before answering in front of everyone, so we can do pair work, teamwork in twos. And it's not only the student who suffers from anxiety. We do this with all the students so that we are not making it obvious that we are working with the particular student. Introduce a comfort scale from 1 to 10. Ask, how anxious did you feel today? And then give it a number. I felt 1 out of 10, or 10 out of 10, or 8 out of 10. What helped? What helped me feel calmer? And write down what helped feel calmer, because we are doing this for the whole week. And track the progress in a simple anxiety rating journal, hoping that day after day the numbers will get lower, so there is less anxiety. And continue the breathing and grounding techniques. What are these techniques? For example, the deep breathing. It is called 4-7-8 method. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 7 seconds and exhale for 8 seconds. So when a person is anxious, when we do this exercise, it could be adults, it could be small children, it works for everyone. We are stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. So in our body, all right, everyone knows there are the sympathetic nervous system that we call it the fight, flight, or freeze response when we are agitated and anxious and very troubled. And then the opposite of that is the parasympathetic, we call it the rest and digest, when we are calm. Issa, when we are very anxious and we stop to mindfully do this exercise of 4-7-8 breathing method, that stimulates the vagus nerve, a nerve that is going down from the brain and is going to shut down slowly, very slowly, D, sympathetic nervous system. And then it is going to increase more the calmness. So it's a very powerful tool, this in psychology. Another very important activity that we can suggest is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. So imagine we have a student who is very anxious and they are enough trembling or showing these distressing symptoms, and you tell them to close their eyes, breathe deeply first, and then do this exercise. Think of 5 things that you can see. And they are focusing their attention to observing their classroom or their surroundings and try to elicit 5 things they can see. Followed by 4 things they can touch. So they have to touch their clothes, the table, the laptop, the papers, the pens, whatever. Then followed by 3 things they can hear. I can hear the students in class or the caretaker in the corridor or the birds outside. They have to think of 3 things they can hear. 2 things they can smell and 1 thing they can taste. And by the time their mind is focused on finding all these things, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that reduces their panic attack and they feel calmer. And the progressive muscle relaxation, clench and relax the muscles from head to toe when feeling tense. So it's like scanning your body from head to toe, and that also deviates the attention from the stressful situation to try to calm the person down. Now we are at the 4th week, so in the meantime there is continuous discussion with the student, encouraging them, showing how much we care, showing how much we believe in them, that they can improve for their own good, to feel better. And now is the 4th week and we're going to work on building confidence through small wins. The objective is to strengthen positive experiences and expand participation comfort zones. So what simple ideas are being proposed? The activities are: 1. Public answer challenge. Encourage the student to answer one low-stakes question in class. If this feels too hard, let them write it down on the board instead, or any other ideas that the students are comfortable with. Remember, we are all the time discussing, okay? Teach progressive muscle relaxation, as I explained before. Before the lessons, guide them to clench and release muscles to ease the tension. Encourage self-compassion statements. Teach them to reframe mistakes and learning opportunities as learning opportunities. For example, instead of saying, I got it wrong, no, don't say it like that. You have to think, this helps me learn when I need to improve. So we are students, we are at school because we are learning. If we know everything, we would be professors and lecturing, not students learning. Even me at my age, I am all the time learning, even from my son, my students, what I observe in the road, people I encounter. We are all the time learning. No one is like an expert. It's okay to get it wrong. Getting it wrong is an opportunity to become aware that there is something else to learn. This is the growth mindset. End of week 4, so we end with a reflection. Ask, what went better this week? What small success did you achieve? And always praise. Now we're starting week 5 again, a set of activities that we're going to repeat and reinforce for a whole week. And this week I called it expanding comfort and strengthening resilience. The objective to increase your willingness to participate and manage setbacks better, the academic resilience. Set a small presentation goal. This is optional, so this could be just reading a short prepared answer aloud. If verbal participation is still too hard, perhaps a written contribution, and that is very okay. Challenge catastrophic thinking. When they panic, help them consider alternative, less extreme outcomes. Example, what if I make a mistake? Then I will learn from it and it's okay. Increase coping toolkits, encourage doodling or mindful coloring during stressful moments, suggest short walks before class if movement helps calm them down. And after a whole week repeating these simple tasks, we arrive at the final week, week 6, independent anxiety management and long-term strategies. The objective is to ensure that the student is feeling equipped to handle anxiety independently. We propose student-led reflection, have them look back at their journal and see how far they've come. Create a personalized coping plan. Ask what techniques helped me the most. Write down my own top 3 go-to strategies for the future. Final small-scale challenge. If possible, encourage them to answer one question without preparation, even if it is just a yes or no question. And if not ready, set a future goal for when they will try it. And encouragement and the next steps. Recognize their progress, all steps of the way we recognize their progress and we praise them and we show that we believe in them and they can become better persons and they can feel better, and offer continued support if needed. So my final thoughts and adjustments. This should be personalized, modify the plan based on the student's response each week. Encourage but do not pressure. Let them progress at their own pace. Support network. If anxiety is severe, consider involving the school counselors. This structured plan provides gradual exposure, practical coping strategies, and confidence building techniques. Thank you, and I hope that this was a little bit helpful.